So, all right, let's see. So Zoom is going to admit all, and also the waiting room, spotlight, bam. All right, I'm getting the hang of this. No,
It
all right.
only took 20 months.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I think we got spotlight, recording, and we are streaming, and we are live, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, and all the way up in Maine. Okay. We're we're okay. All right, cool guys. Well, hey, welcome back everyone. Thank you. Thank you for everyone attending this weekly coherence meditation. For anybody that might be new here, we welcome you as well, of course. We do hold these coherence meditations every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And I'm in Phoenix. We got daylight savings time going back. I'm going to only be 2 hours behind you next week on the November 6th. So next week, guys, be sure to flip your watches, your hour, and all that stuff if you are. Anyway, so cool. We restream over to YouTube and Facebook. If you are over there at YouTube and Facebook, please do like, share, subscribe, all that other good stuff, and feel free to share it out to friends and family you think you can benefit from this. We hold our live over here on Zoom. And if you would like to join us over here, we more than welcome you. Just go over to I'mAwakeNowWhat.com/calendar. That's going to hold all of the current events and the weekly meditations. We not only do Tuesdays, sometimes like in the recent hurricane events that happen, unfortunately, we did hold some coherence meditations, and those were awesome too. We had a lot of energy and a lot of focus, for those. So if you do, I already, I already said if you're over there, do like, share, subscribe. All right, and we do encourage everybody to do this as a daily practice. Our title for today is Amplify Your Creativity for Art, Music, Writing, and More. And as we're going into the coherence meditation, as I've done in the past, I also have this QR code right up here. It's bit.ly/CM playlist. Feel free to click on one of the frequencies in that playlist. Personally, I actually use little speaker pucks that I bought from Amazon, about 60 bucks or so, and I play some frequencies in the background. It helps tremendously, at least for me. So for everybody else, for a lot of others.
Did you do that intentionally?
What's that? These?
No, you were just talking about I was like,
Oh, you're kidding me.
just for a second, it was perfect. I thought you were doing it intentionally.
Oh, it kind of sounded like this,
Awesome.
right?
Yes.
It's my soundboard. I don't know. It's like one button on the soundboard. It goes into that like really deep voice.
That's
I'm
cool.
glad you told me that. So I need to fix that.
I don't think you need to fix it at all, actually.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess it was funny. So cool. I'll keep it like that then. All right, guys. So yeah, I told you the title. Let's get going on this. So
All
awesome to
right.
see you again, Seth.
Thank you, Greg. As always, Greg and I remain in touch all during the week, every week, just plotting and planning and seeing how we can serve best. And with all the intensity that's been happening, all the tragedies, the travesties, the brutal life or death situations that have been playing out all over the world, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I figured, you know what? We've spent a lot of time focusing on that. Let's get into our life force. Let's discuss and experience how we can use our conscious connection to what we are, to this invisible energy that's causing the heart to beat, that we all are, that everything is. And when we get good at sustaining it, this is how Monet, or I don't know, all the people that have created brilliant works of music, of writing, of poetry, of communications. And it doesn't just have to be for the arts necessarily. The way we live our life can be like the arts, can be very artistic. And what do they call? So Qigong, which Qigong is, for those who don't know, I'm sure everybody does here, they call it the art of energy. And there's dynasties in China that supposedly lived for tens of thousands of years in complete harmony with the natural world. And a lot of these old practices come not just from China too, but in India. There are cultures all over the world who've spent their lives doing this stuff. And it never really was available to people in the Western world. But now it is becoming real and it's becoming accessible. And could it come at a more important time? I mean, every day people are reaching out, confused, afraid, needing healing. All of it is happening because the intensity of everything happening is undermining the way most people perceive reality. And if you're used to living a certain way and you know your life, it's familiar, you live, you do the same things almost every day, and you're in that zone, that pocket, if that starts to become unhinged, of course, it's going to be worrisome or create anxiety or whatever. There's so many different things. And so here we are doing this together. And when we choose to get in tune with this life force that we are, and we support each other doing this, right? We're a bunch of people. We are individually choosing to become conscious of the nature of our consciousness. And when we get good at doing that individually, we support each other as a group, as a community, and that further amplifies the potential for all of this. And the more this happens, you get to a point where you feel so grateful for every breath that you breathe. You know, you get to a place where you recognize how rare and precious and incredibly beautiful and sometimes painful that life is, and you learn to have gratitude and so much respect for it that you get to a point where you don't need to say anything. This life force that we are speaks volumes to others. And so if we're all embodying this individually and supporting each other collectively, at some point that 100th monkey thing is going to start to become manifest, where enough of us are doing this regularly. We are in these zones of interconnectivity with the real web of life, the organic web of life that everybody and everything is connected to, right down to the microbacteria at the bottom of our feet, to the outer furthest reaches of unknown multiverses. It is all interwoven and connected to this web of life. And the more that more of us become conscious of that and bring our own unique way of perceiving it together, that's how we role model this possibility, this potential. And it's how we influence the world, others in a way without even trying to. We just become a solid pillar of coherence, of feeling such gratitude for life, no matter what the expression of it is. And when people feel that, they know something's happening. And so we're doing that here together. And the limits for it are unlimited. We can do whatever we want. Once we get really good at returning back to these states of being that we were all in as children, before language, before belief systems, there was purity of consciousness, meaning there was awareness, but it wasn't drawing from language or belief systems or cultural influence. It was full awareness and pure. And we all were that. That's how we started out as we begin to form in our mother's womb. And then when we were born, we all come from the naturally purest consciousness there is. And when you look at life overall and you see that you can get right back into that and realize that it's only a very short amount of time that we've been perceptively disconnected from reality. So before we get going, I want to say something else too, because I do live events up here. And the last one that we did, somebody actually interrupted about 45 minutes into it. And he very nicely said that he was struggling. He was getting triggered because I was talking about dark stuff or shadow or whatever you want to call it. And it was causing some issues for him. But it made me wonder if other people feel that way. But because he hadn't really been with me and doing this work that I usually always do, that we do here, I told him that it's coming full circle. I don't sugarcoat anything, and I don't think anybody would. When you get to a point where you're so clear that whatever's happening in you, to you, is what changes the world, then that requires to some degree looking at the shadow, allowing ourselves to, by creating coherence, allowing all that wounding, trauma, thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and actions, and not just personally, but collectively, the way the world is, the way people perceive it, we have boxed ourselves in. And sometimes it requires looking at that part of us. But I just wanted to say this because it always comes back full circle, actually full spiral. So, with all of that said, let's get comfortable. And wherever you are, you can just relax. Just slow your breathing down. 5 seconds on the inhale, 5 seconds on the exhale. And it doesn't have to be that long. Whatever's comfortable for you. Slow, even inhales and slow, even exhales together. Create that cycle of breathing that is happening involuntarily, and that we are voluntarily allowing ourselves to get in coherence with our breathing, with all these other systems of our body that are so beyond complex, but that the intelligence of our life force knows how to operate. And when we get harmonized with that, and we get good at being able to stay in that place where your body's so relaxed, and at the same time your mind is wide awake and bright. So it's almost like your body could be likened to the night where you sleep or you rest, and your awareness is kind of like the sun, and you can cycle your perception and expression and your awareness of all these different polarities that are not separate. They are all completely interlinked together, to the degree that when we recognize that and we slow our breathing down and we get to that 0 point between all polarities, almost like the calm inside of the storm, or before it. When we calm ourselves down, when we breathe slowly and rhythmically, and we put that little inner smile, just so slightly, that smile, and feeling the effect that it has on our body chemistry. Because if you put that smile on and you allow yourself to really feel it, objectively though, you don't need to analyze it. It's so simple. You just flick the switch of the smile or push a button, and your smile itself, when you allow yourself to feel it, has the ability to completely change your body chemistry in a very, very powerful way. And when you get good at feeling your heartbeat, and maybe you start just by learning to feel it in your chest, but as you practice becoming aware and feeling your heartbeat, center of your intuition, and you get good at it so that you can feel your pulse anywhere in your body. And so if you do that and you get good at it, then if you have long chronic pain or you have emotional, intense things that keep returning to you, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional challenges, when you put that smile on your face and you feel the pulse of your heartbeat wherever it hurts, that is the most powerful medicine that I've ever consumed or worked with, because it is that miracle of life that each and every one of us have always been, and that we will always be. And to allow ourselves to be conscious of it right here, right now, together. And when you get good at feeling your pulse, charged with your self-love or gratitude of life, when you apply that and the blockages in your body begin to clear out, then before long, your whole body, with each beat of your heart and that feeling of an uplifted state of being that you feel from your smile, before long, your entire body is pulsing with the heartbeat, with your gratitude, with your body chemistry in harmony with your choice to take your power back. And instead of being in fight or flight, or thoughts and beliefs that have become like a runaway train, all of that can end very quickly when you return back to these states of purity, to these states that are like a flow state. And so when we're children, it's easy to be in a state of coherence. And we are intrigued. We are moved by our life experiences. And that creates further curiosity. And the combination of all this working together while you are conscious of it, when we get into this state that is actually so much more normal than a state of stress or upset, when we get back in tune with that and we sustain it, that is when our power comes back. That is when we become strong and creative. So if we are in these states and we are sustaining internal connection, this is how we apply our peace and love of life. When we get into these connected states, that is where the creative pulse of life itself lives. And when we are living totally aware of this intelligence that's causing all these systems of our body to function, whether we're sleeping at night or walking around during the day, when we get into harmony with what is truly happening, we want to share that with the world. We want to be creative and create new modes of expression, of interpretation, of communication between our body, our feelings, our thought processes. When all of that is in sync together and we get good at sustaining it, that is creativity. That is where we are able to create something that not only feels so satisfying, but we're able to feel and express something that totally changes the way others perceive us. And that is what we're doing here together. With every beat of our heart, that is where incredible things begin to take place, just as they are right now. So slow down even more. Relax your body so deep that you begin to really know the part of yourself that is more energy than material. Because we all know that, right? We know that when it comes right down to it, we are all energy. And the appearance of matter is almost simply an appearance. Because when we tune into that subatomic state of awareness, we get good at sustaining that. We begin to learn that we have so much support that all of the natural currents that are here in this world, under the ground, through all the rocks and minerals, and through the natural world, all of the flora and fauna. When we get in tune with what we are, we naturally get in tune with that, and it supports us. So allow yourself to feel that. And if you don't feel it, just keep relaxing more. And so the more you relax, the more you turn on the part of yourself that knows you are more energy than matter. And that even the sensual aspects that we all feel in these bodies with our normal senses, that is simply the launching point to lead us into much more finely tuned perceptual abilities. And when we begin to feel that all of these centers in our body that truly are atrophied perceptual centers, and when we begin to exercise and activate those abilities within us, and we get good at it, the feelings that you begin to feel when you create this zone, suddenly your sensitivities aren't something that prevents you from living in this world and functioning in it. So many of us are so sensitive that we shut that part of ourselves off just to cope. But when we become so conscious of our consciousness and its ability to allow these sensitivities to become activated and felt, that's when our empowerment comes back. And if you're in that state, even for just a little while, all the things that were bothering you suddenly don't bother you as much. All the fears, everything that most of us feel on a somewhat occurring basis, suddenly you trust life. It's almost like you're not afraid to live or die because you recognize it all as that 0 point of all these polarities that we all are, that everything is. And these polarities are not going away. until we balance them. And even still, they won't disappear. We just get good at balancing them to the degree that we can live with confidence, with sensitivity, with that same feeling of what it's like to be a child, eyes and heart filled with awe and wonder, and wanting to experience, wanting to deepen the connection that we have to the natural world, to these bodies that very few have ever taught us to respect, much less become so in love with the reality of what these bodies are and how intelligent this life force is. When we choose to do what nobody else could do for us, and we actually choose to get into the middle of these polarities that we all are, and we balance that. Again, we begin to feel the support of a solar system, of a galaxy, of all the different star systems in them. Not only are we affected by all of that, but these bodies, all of our physiology, it is interwoven into all these different systems that are everywhere around us in every direction, and that are also everywhere inside of us, no matter where that is. And when we get what is inside of us, harmonize everything that's happening all around us. I've done a lot of things in my life, and nothing feels as good as that. And the better you get at creating a connection to this 0 point or this balance between all polarities, and you begin to feel that creative life force that each of us came into this world as the result of, but that it didn't end there. That feeling of creation has not gone away. It has always been right with us, right within us, and creating these uplifted states of being that are our birthright. When you do that and you sustain it and you get good at it, this profound feeling of creative life giving frequencies and vibratory living geometries that are the building blocks of life. All of that begins to become self-evident. You were never not connected to it. You have always been a part of this great system, the true web of life, the tree of life, where our awareness and the upper centers of our body are expanded way out into space as far as we could ever imagine, and then way beyond. And then our feet, like the roots of a tree that dig down, they grow into all of fortresses and rocks and dirt and everything in the ground and anchor themselves in. And when those two polarities, being completely rooted in the ground and being completely aware of infinity through the leaves, you could say, of our upper part of the tree, and our heart right in the middle to balance it all out, to love it to the degree that at the same time empowers us to become more stable, while at the same time allowing us to explore so much more than we could ever imagine. But that is what encourages us. When our imagination turns into a reality and we go to the limit of that reality, to the top of the mountain, where do we go from there? We grow wings and we fly, or we begin to evolve and adapt to swim just like any other creature that swims in water. And we're not just swimming in water, we are swimming through space. All of these polarities, all of these elements, we all are every part of that. And we can claim it. We can wake up and know that we are in the exact perfect spot in all of this. And when we know that, and we're firmly rooted in our knowing while at the same time expanding into infinity, then our heart in the middle of all of that allows us to love and respect and have reverence for this great web of life, this life force that we all share almost equally, but that through our individuality, we are able to tell a new story, to evolve beyond the limits that we didn't even know we were letting hold us back. It is our full birthright to be exactly where we are and blooming or flowering right in this space where we are. And to feel feelings of that creative potency of life force creating new life. And that feeling that is ecstatic, that does go through twists and turns and growing pangs. when we get into the middle of all of this and balance it, we are ready to create whatever it is that we love, that we care about, that we feel, that we want to express in our completely unique way of expressing it, that nobody and nothing anywhere can simulate, because that is you. There is an equal right to live, but that so few tune into while they're here, which is kind of paradoxical, because how can we not be tuned in to this majesty or this powerful state of knowing that is everybody, everything, everywhere? How could we not know ourselves as what we are? And just in considering that, just in the intention to create a closer connection to what we are, to what is always with us, that's how our health comes back. That's what inspires us to not only create, but to pay closer attention to everybody and everything around us. Because even though we share the same energy at its core, we each get to express it in our own way. And when there's no more competition, jealousy, judgment, there remains the thing that was always there. And it's not a thing, it is a knowing that this creative potency of life, creating life, is interspersed throughout every part of our being. And when we take all of these energies that are within us, from our pelvic floor, from in the middle of our head and the pineal and pituitary gland, when we intentionally direct these two energies into the heart, not only does metamorphosis begin to commence, but it has the ability to be at a level so much greater than we could ever know, because we are paying attention to it. We are conscious of it. And when we really let that sink in, when we really allow ourselves the gift of feeling and knowing ourselves as we truly are, then we know we are here to serve, however that might look for you. And the more that you choose to be this and support each other as individuals who they choose this state of being, and when a big group who chooses this individually unites together, all with a very similar objective focus, the core of it, the heart of it. Our heartbeats are synchronized. And when we allow our vision of the world around us to come from this place with these incredible life nurturing frequencies, vibratory resonance that is the makeup and nature of all reality. When we know ourselves as that, we want to face whatever it is that most can't face because it hurts too much. We can get to a point where we are so in love with our entire state of being and this invisible, beyond genius, intelligent energy of life force. When we are in the pocket of that, look out. Because to say that we are a force of nature is an understatement. Who are you when you are so focused on what you are that you know yourself throughout space and time? Who are you when knowing what you are is more of a priority than who the world has taught us to be? We are choosing to know ourselves as what we are. This unbelievable harmonic marriage of life filled with sensual feelings and knowings and the ability to be able to interpret all of the complexities that everything is made up through these building blocks of life. And when we are in that and it becomes balanced to us, through us, then at some point, who we think we are starts to become very influenced by the knowing of what we are. And this process in and of itself begins to influence us in a way where all the old stuff just starts to detox. All the thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors and actions of perceiving a sense of self that is based on limitation, that is based upon what the world, the civilized world of our species wants us to learn and be like. We grow beyond it. And at some point, we come to value that it happened. Because the joy of reconnection, no matter how painful it was, becomes the most valuable process that there ever could be. And you might not be able to realize it all, but you know you are part of that forever. And so to get back into this especially when our world is experiencing so much upheaval, so much detoxification, so much intensity. When we observe and allow ourselves to be a part of all of this without holding back at all, again, we know that we are right exactly where we're supposed to be. And that allows us the power to create, to love what we create, and to encourage others to create. And whether it's personal projects or communal or cultural, whether we are practicing the art of being completely silent or the art of communicating at levels that we all know that we are capable of, but that we hardly even knew how to activate them. Can we communicate with other beings on other systems, star systems? If you really allow yourself to know yourself as you are, then what limits are there in your creative expression of it that you don't honor? You actually become so grateful for the limits because it teaches you how to create and how to grow. And that is receiving a gift and then being the gift through your reverence and respect of life and the influence that it has on everybody. So just keep breathing slow. Put that inner smile on your face and sustain it. Do your best to keep it there. And while you're keeping it, let yourself feel that the choice you make to wear that smile on a calm body, that is your choice to do. And nobody can take that from us. So the more you feel the feelings of that smile, an elevated feeling with breathing that is relaxed and slow and rhythmic, and a body that is relaxed and calm. And when you begin to normalize this state of being rather than the one that the world taught you you are, that we all can get stuck and lost in. At some point, we honor that because it offered the ability to evolve at levels that very few, if any, demonstrated. And we are doing that right now. And we can get so good at sustaining it that it just becomes normal. So anybody who wants to stay in a deeper state can just hang up and just do this as long as you want and memorize the feeling. Everybody here, if you had these uplifted feelings or epiphanies, or you sense that maybe you're beginning to activate dormant perceptual abilities and centers, and it feels amazing, memorize that feeling. Because the more you memorize it, the more you create new habits, new memories that you begin to be able to build and create the version of you that you've always known you are deep down. So remember that. When anything happens, whether it's here now or anywhere in your life, where you have these feelings, these revelations, these epiphanies, memorize that feeling, because those feelings and the memory of them will take precedence over everything that you didn't even know was holding you back. And that's how we change our health. And it's how we inspire and help change the health of the world around us. So before we come out of this, just remember how simple this is. Calm body, bright awareness, slow rhythmic breathing, and that little smile. And that's it. When you make a habit of doing that, even if it's only for 3 minutes at a time, and even if you only do it once a day, just keep doing it. Make that commitment to yourself that you are going to do this every day until you habituate what it's like to return back to that creative state of coherence that children and the greatest artists and musicians and poets, or anybody who did anything from that flow state, when you create the habit of those simple steps, you naturally become in tune with that flow state in you. And when you get results from it, you're going to know it. And then suddenly you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to practice giving my full attention to this twice a day instead of once. And you're all in, completely committed to this process. And then you are activated. That is where things truly begin to become incredible. So remember that. And remind yourself to keep the memory of it. And when you're ready, take your hands, rub them together, get really hot. And when your hands are nice and warm, put the palms of your hands over your eyes, creating darkness. And notice if you see or sense anything in that darkness. And make a note of that. And when you're ready, you can come back to a state where you're awake and alert, but at the same time, relax and in balance. And you get to take this with you. And you get to know that we are here doing this every week, likely a lot more times during the week. And it's a group effort, and we're going to do it. And then all the old things in the world that we know weren't sustainable, we just lose. Not faith in it. We just know that this is so much better. These states, our relationship to life, to each other, that becomes our priority, where we place our attention. So please like, love, tag, share. Get as many people knowing about this as possible. We are here to activate the 100th monkey, the 1,000th monkey, the 1,000,000th, however many monkeys you can imagine. So Greg, thank you. And thank you everybody here. And you can keep doing this over and over. There's no expiration date on these.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you everybody for attending. To kind of piggyback off of what you're saying earlier with consciousness, I actually posted a couple links. It seems like one of the buzzwords is buzzwords is consciousness, but where does consciousness actually go? And I stumbled across 2 Epoch Times links that I put in the chat in case anybody would like to read those. But it's kind of funny, you go out on the road and you see like a punch bug or something, or like a certain model car, and it's like you tend to see more and more of that. Well, consciousness, you range your consciousness a little bit, and I've been seeing more and more of that in the past couple of weeks. It's like just being attracted to that. So, anyways, I posted those links in there. I sent you that actually on Signal the other day too, Seth. But anyway, thank you so much for everybody attending. We will see everybody next week on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We love you all. All right. Bye-bye, guys.